Happy early Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
For you, what have you learned about? Because I saw the mic up ahead of you. You're like the team's hype man, but also you got the green dot. You also the all pro. So, what have you learned about leadership and I guess emotional intelligence within that? Like, because you lead different guys different ways.
Yeah, everybody, needs to be led differently. Everybody's got different motivations. Everybody loves to be encouraged. Everybody loves to be congratulated. And for me personally, like that's probably my favorite part of the game. Like my favorite part of the game is being a teammate, and with that being said, is being there to support my guys, whether that's a good play, bad play. Like I love being the cheerleader on the team. I like being every time somebody make a play, being the first person to run over there to congratulate them, whether that's offense, defense, and just knowing how when you on the road, it feels like the whole world's against you. You know what I mean? So when you're on the road, I think it's just that much more important to like make sure that you celebrating your teammates. For their success, because it's like on the road when you make a big play, everybody goes quiet. So we gotta cheer for each other and just try to have that infectious energy. So.
You've seen a stretch in the season where I think you guys have 4 AFC South games in the last 6. Really kind of ramps up that competition there. You've been around this team a long time and haven't had a chance to win an AFC South title. What would that mean, do you feel like, for this locker room?
I think it means a lot. I feel like when you look at your goals of the season, that's the first one that you always got to check off. You want to win the division. So no better opportunity than this Sunday against Houston.
What have you seen from Gallimore this season? Because that depth in there is always so important, when you miss one of those 2 big guys.
Nah, Big Nev has definitely been a positive addition, not only on the field but in the locker room. He's a guy that's come in willing to work. We know he's been around, a couple of different locker rooms in the league, and I just felt like he fit in seamlessly with us here. Obviously, we know who DeForest and Grove is, but when you got that third guy coming in, obviously we play a lot of 5 down too, but when you got that third guy coming in with energy and playmaking, man, it makes a big difference. And I think just his effort and the hustle plays that he's made this season has helped us out tremendously. So.
Huge game coming up Sunday. One still in front of you. What is your level of just urgency of just trying to, you're back home, trying to get a win here against this AFC South opponent?
Man, I can't wait to be back home. I mean, we've been on the road for a long time, and definitely missing Lucas Oil. So glad to be back home on Sunday. And I mean, honestly, I felt like our urgency has been high all year, every game. I mean, last week was a big game. Atlanta was every game is the biggest game of the season because it's the next one. But I will say, the urgency is just a little bit higher knowing we're going against Houston.
You've had a lot of guys who you've played alongside in this defense within your linebacker group. Since Jermaine Pratt has come in the building, how much of an influence and impact has he been able to make specifically?
Man, he was playing out of his mind on Sunday, and I loved it. Like, you talk about, celebrating your teammates. I love nothing more than a guy next to me to go flying and making plays. Like, that turns me up for sure. So, he definitely was playing, like, with his head on fire. And, he's been, solid in that position. Obviously a lot of stuff been going on this season. He's added some stability to it. And obviously, his relationship with Lou, having played in the same defense for 6 years, he's just very comfortable in understanding, the things that Lou is asking from him. So, it's been helpful, obviously, with all of our learning curves and stuff like that too. So it's definitely been a positive.
All season long, you guys have noted just how tight-knit, how much this group wants to fight for one another. Coming off of a little bit of adversity, how much is that either tested or just even maybe put on display when you guys have an opportunity to respond?
Man, I'm looking forward to adversity. Adversity gives you the biggest opportunity for growth. So, I love nothing more than that. I love when people doubting us. I love when people counting us out because it's another chance to prove somebody wrong. So, I think, those type of situations bring you closer as a team. It hardens you as a team. We got better as a team, right or wrong. So, Sunday's another opportunity for growth.
Super random question, but every team has the guy or guys who they're in charge of what music gets played, right? I know like Taekwon, maybe Grove, I don't know, but like anyway, who is it, and what are your impressions on them as in that role?
There's a rumor going around the building that I heard from Carly, actually, that I control the music during practice. That's not true. I don't gonna say I have an influence on it, but I don't think I control it. You know, Tyloo, the D-line always wants to hog the Hawks, and they think they're bigger than everybody, so, you know, they do a good job at it. But, you know, Tyloo definitely plays a big role in it, him and Grove. But, and I mean, you know, I think Ty's got great musical taste. You know, we argue all the time about the difference between Southern music and, you know, East Coast from where I'm from, so that's that. But, you know, you got to let the young, my theory is you just got to let the young boys have the aux a good amount, you know. So it was AD. AD got great musical taste. Shout out to AD. But you gotta let the young, because that's how you know what's current. We listen to the same music all over again. You gotta know what's new. So yeah, Tyloo do a good job though, and I don't control the music at practice, by the way.
The opportunities to learn through adversity. In your experience as a veteran and a voice in this locker room, how do you go about leading, you know, talking guys up, approaching games to make sure that a loss or two doesn't turn into a you know, end of season slide that you guys obviously dealt with?
Yeah, I think you just keep everything in perspective. Understand, you know, I'm having those conversations with guys, win or lose, you know, just so you always using these, you know, type of scenarios, like I said, for opportunity for growth. Understanding that, you know, a loss is not fatal and a win is not final, you know, so you got to just continue to keep going. When you lose, obviously, you got a bigger magnifying glass. You're going through every single thing. When you win, sometimes you sweep things under the rug. So I think every week presents its own, you know, challenges. And I think every week, you know, is going to call on different guys that have the heavy hat, you know, against, you know, Atlanta with Bijan in the backfield. Yeah, you know, linebackers, we got to stop that run, you know. And then, you know, you play, you know, Houston, and obviously they got, you know, 12 over there. He's a good player. You know, there's other guys that's got to step up and make those plays. So.
I'm on leadership. You're mic'd up. I know it's parts of it probably can't play because you talk, and that's part of who you are.
Right.
We've talked about this in the past, whether it's here, 520, whatever. How have you learned like how much of yourself you can be, if that makes sense, and in what setting? Because all of it makes you who you are, if that makes sense. Like all of it part of the journey, the story, and you can't not be you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you know, I just feel like I always got to be my authentic self. You know, I feel like, you know, you see that clip of the Eagles fans punching people, the kids punching in them elementary school. Like, that's really where I'm from. You know, they not in class. They punching, you know, cowboys. You know, that's literally where I'm from. So I just feel like I got a unique perspective on some things. I mean, to me, it's just really my competitive nature. And at the end of the day, you know, when you're on the field, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You know, I'm in there mixing up with 300-pound guys. And, you know, I don't shy away from that. So I love it, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, we going to hug it out or, you know, we're going to figure that out. So, I think it's just who I am, just keep being authentic. But, you know, I have learned as I've grown throughout the league and, you know, start to build actual relationship with some people, you know, there's a level and a line to it, too, a little bit, so.
Being the Cause My Cleats game, can you just describe the cause that you've chosen and why?
I believe I chose girls' flag for my cleats. You know, being named the global ambassador for flag football has been a really cool experience. You know, just the girls I was able to meet and influence as the game continues to grow, especially in like Indianapolis, has been really special. And, you know, it's truly something that's near and dear to my heart. You know, most of the time I've done community service throughout my career has been more like STEM and academic, you know, but kind of getting into girls' flag, you kind of get a chance to really grow the game and, you know, share that joy and that love that I have for the game with someone else. And especially to the young ladies, you know, being able to step in a whole new area has been really dope, too. So just thankful for the influences that I've been able to be and, you know, looking forward to continue to further the cause. So.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve. It's a big weekend, back at home finally for the first time in about a month. It's also My Cause, My Cleats. First time you guys have had an opportunity at home for My Cause, My Cleats in a number of seasons. You're going to be representing Kicking the Stigma. Why was it important for you to use the platform that you have to dedicate to Kicking the Stigma?
Well, number one, I mean, you just look at the initiative that we take here, and I thought that it was imperative for myself to join that initiative, not only with events that Kaylin and the rest of the Ursay family put on, but through My Cause, My Cleats. I know I've had a few different organizations that I've represented, but I thought this year it was only right to represent, Kicking the Stigma.
When there's a game like Sunday where obviously the elephant in the room is, people said you should have got the ball more in the fourth quarter. When you look back at it, what's your mindset going into this next match?
The same one. Just like in the offseason, you got to prepare for the workload, no matter how big, no matter how small. So in the offseason, you prepare your body to go the distance every single time. And whether that's, hey, we need you to block the Mike Backer 15 times or we need you to get 30 carries, I'm willing and able and I'm ready to handle anything that my team, the coaches, they ask me to do. So this week is the same thing. We obviously know what's at stake. We know that we're back at home. It's been a while, and we got to put a good product on the field, something that's different than Sunday for sure.
I'm sorry, you've been a part of these AFC South battles. What is your level of urgency right now, knowing everything you guys want is right in front of you, but a massive game here on Sunday against the Texans?
We know, especially this year, we're going to get everybody's best shot. And with the implications, we know that we got to play our best ball. At the end of the day, November, December, you want to be playing your best ball as a team. You want to go into that postseason rolling. So for us, in order to get there, we got to be playing our best ball at the end of the year. So it's all about playing our best ball this Sunday coming up.
Texans seem like they have a pretty good front. When you look at them on Tavia, what is it that stands out?
Yeah, those guys definitely get active up front. It's always a tough challenge with those guys. They have smart players, but they have athletic players. So for us, it's going to be alignment, assignment. We're going to definitely have to help each other out. We're going to have to be on our communication as well. If you let that front run wild, it's going to be a long Sunday.
You talked about also the off-season work that you do to prepare your body for times like these. Going to a walkthrough right now, just a chance for guys to maybe get a little bit more rest. What benefit is that for players, and what do you have to do to make sure you're still, even though you're not getting as many practice reps perhaps, ready on Sunday?
That's the key thing. You're not getting as many practice reps, so you got to make sure the mental reps truly do count. Don't just watch the play and say, oh, okay, that's where we're running. Go through, okay, well, what's my adjustment on this play if this were to happen, or if they showed this front. So really make every rep count when you're going through it mentally, but then also take advantage of having that day where you're not on your feet. Get that extra recovery, watch that extra film, whatever you need to do to make sure you can be at your best on Sunday.
JT, I know you've talked about being a quarterback's best friend. There were a few times on Sunday where I noticed you going back and forth between the O-line and Daniel. As you've seen teams bring a lot of pressure, how much has that communication for you really elevated?
That's huge, especially on the road in a hostile environment like that. Noise level is up. You all have to be on the same page, because if not, it can be disastrous. So that's something that we've been really honing in on these past few weeks, is making sure every single snap we are all on the same page.
Have you been more vocal? Have you had more opportunities, do you feel like, to do that?
Well, definitely as far as with the calls, getting and confirming the calls. I know that Bort and as well as Daniel, they have the authority to, if Bort calls something, or, hey, maybe Daniel wants to change it. But just from a running back room standpoint, making sure we're all on the same page, we've been on one accord.
JT, how big of a holiday is this for you with Thanksgiving, growing up, the food, all that good stuff? The family, take us through that, please.
Man, Thanksgiving is what we're not playing on Thanksgiving, so I don't know if I'll have a chance to play on Thanksgiving. Everyone hopes they get a chance to play on Thanksgiving at least once, but growing up, smelling the good food, watching the ball games, I mean, it's a special time. You're with your family, you're with your friends, so it's going to be really, really nice this year. I know that the guys who are playing on Thanksgiving, I know it's really big for them, so maybe one day I'll be playing on Thanksgiving.
This is the point in the season, schedule-wise, where the AFC South race really heats up. You guys have 4 games in the division over the last 6 weeks. This team hasn't won an AFC South title in a decade. What would that mean to this locker room? You've been around for a good chunk of the time.
Like you mentioned, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've had one here, and we think that it's that time. But we ultimately know in order for that to happen, we got to go out there. You got to put a great product on the field on Sundays, and you have to find a way to win. Good, bad, or ugly, you have to find a way to come out on top each and every single AFC South battle.
We're giving you guys a little bit more unscouted looks the last couple weeks.
I mean, as an offensive line or as an offense in general, it's always hard to scout all the looks that they've run over the last couple of years. So And then it just happens, you know, in the game. If you pick him up, you don't see him again. But if you don't pick him up, you'll see the same blitz in that game, and then probably the next defense, the next team you're playing, is going to watch that too, and it's going to give you a similar blitz. So we just, as an offensive line, we just have to be on our communication, be on the same page, because you know if you pick him up and then they obviously have less guys in coverage, and then if that can, you know, make plays out of that, then they won't call him as much. But obviously it starts with us.
Feel a positive impact from having these walkthroughs at this time of the season, and maybe just kind of preventing some of those extra practice reps physically?
I mean, yeah, today's the first time doing it, so like, haven't felt an impact yet. But like, yeah, obviously it's a good chance to, you know, keep the bodies right. But at the same time, you also have to make sure your body stays in a good condition. So you got to do a little extra work on the side. But I think as a team, it's a good thing overall.
You guys were rolling for so long, kind of losing 2 of 3 is kind of the first time you guys have had a real stretch of adversity this season. How do you feel like the team's responding to it?
Yeah, obviously it's tough. Like that's not what we want to do. Obviously, it sucks. But I think it really, like, you know, we're always accountable to our own mistakes, and it often is just a little thing out there that makes a difference in the game. And I think we've done a good job, you know, like growing closer together through it, and just, you know, working on the mistakes we've made and improving on them.